Geeks Gone Wrong.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Scarfinger, and this is Scarcasm. August is back, son!
That means it's been a year.
That means it's been a whole ass year. And what a year it's been. We tried to do the whole thing in April, as like a backup to August, but April just doesn't have the same kind of ring to it. So, yeah, we're going to try that again. When April comes back around. We're going to try it again. Hopefully I won't be moving. So that part will probably work itself out a little bit better. But yeah, man, August is back. Chase is in the building, of course. You've already heard his voice. And our guest today, well, we're supposed to have two guests. We might not have two guests. But our guest today, Mr. Bad Fodder, it's hard for me to say fast. Bad Fodder Figures himself, Captain Mike M. What's up, dude?
What's going on? Happy to be here.
Yeah, so now we typically just wing it. We just pretty much wing it. So I'm going to start with something about me that I have to admit to the world. I'm Scarfinger, and I am an addict. I am currently addicted to watching people on YouTube play Mass Effect badly. Like, real bad. Like, awful. And there's this one lady that I'm watching a lot these days. And she's played one before. So I kind of skipped one. But I watched her go through Mass Effect 2, and I'm currently on 3. Watching her play Mass Effect 3 for the first time, and she's horrible at it, and I love every second of it.
Is that why you haven't finished the trilogy? Is because you're too busy watching other people play it?
That is true. I did. However, I did start Mass Effect 3. I did. Okay. I finally finished 2 last week, and I'm on to 3. And I made myself late for work. I made myself late for work one day because generally I have one. It used to be I used to have one day where I got off early. So now I come in. One day a week I come in late. So I was like, hey, I'm at the end of Mass Effect. I got a little bit of time. I can just do. I could do the Reaper IFF, I can do the loyalty mission, and I can go straight into the end game for 2. But I'm going to start the end game, and I'm going to save it once I start it. Apparently, you can't do that. At no point during that end game could I save, so I had to finish. I had to finish the suicide mission, and I ended up being late for work. I ended up being like 15 minutes late for work that day because I got stuck in this mission and I didn't want to start over. So I thought there would be like points where I could save it, and apparently I was very, very, very wrong.
That was the most adult thing that you've done, is be late for work for video games.
I mean, sometimes you got to, right? And like at the end of the day, it's Mass Effect. You know what I mean? And it's Mass Effect 2. Like, I mean, I guess Mass Effect 2 is kind of my favorite game of all time at this point.
I thought that was...
You've never played 3?
I have played 3 about 7 times. I've played 1 and 2 maybe about 14.
Wow.
I think maybe I might have an extra playthrough on 2 because I generally don't like playing 1 anymore. And part of the reason why I haven't gotten through everything so far on the Legendary Edition is I don't like 1 anymore. I just don't. I think you spend. I want to get to the meat. I want to get to the action. I want to get to the conversations. I don't want to spend half of my time in the menus converting to fucking Omnigel. Like, that's not a good time for me.
You like, so I want to turn this gun into petroleum jelly.
Exactly. Like, I don't find that aspect of it to be fun anymore. I get it. 1 is very great at world building, but like, bro, let's get on with this shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel.
Well, you have to remember, like, you played them so much, but it was, those games were, before the Legendary Edition, were built on replayability, and it was like, how
built
many...
on what?
Built on replayability.
What is that? Like, can you not say that word?
Replayability?
There you go.
It's closer. Yeah, you got it.
But
yeah,
but it also was like 2007 to like 2009. You know what I mean? You have like a 3-year versus in the Legendary Edition. It's like, yo, I'm going boom, 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 and sometimes you're not making the correct choices.
Yeah.
Now, did they make the Legendary Edition games easier than when you guys played them, like when they first came out? Because he's talking about Omnigel, and I don't remember. I mean, I just went through Legendary Edition not too long ago, and that was my first time ever playing the Mass Effect games, and I don't remember spending a lot of time making Omnigel.
Because so here's how I play. I completely drain every room that I go into. I pick up everything. No. I search for everything. So my inventory kept being full. So you got to convert the stuff to Omnigel or sell it in order for you to be able to pick up more.
It's not
stuff.
as bad converting guns and armor because you don't really get that many guns and armor. What's bad is the little mods and stuff that goes on your guns and armor. That's what fills up your inventory.
Absolutely.
I just felt I was so leveled up in those games early on.
It's because
and I was like, is that the way it was always like that, or
no. They expedited the leveling. Generally, the level that you get to at the end of 1, you pretty much have to do a new game plus to get that.
Yeah.
In the original, they have a thing where you level up way faster. In the Legendary Edition because they want you to get on with it, and I noticed through 2, my Paragon was maxed out like way early, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself because I remember getting to the situation where Jack and Miranda are pissed at each other and having to choose one or the other, and having to go to a guide to figure out how to save the person that doesn't have the loyalty because I don't have enough Paragon or Renegade to convince that person to become loyal again. Like, that's how deep I am into it. But also that's how different it was. Like, my Paragon was maxed out, so I can pretty much tell anybody anything. I can get out of pretty much every situation because my Paragon was maxed out so much. So yeah, it's a little bit different. The levels and stuff is a lot faster, which made it a better game for me. In 1, I like playing the new game plus because I like running with the space bitches. Space bitches through your first playthrough is not a win. But when you did the new game plus and Liara and Tally are leveled up and like Liara is like singularity and like as soon as you walk into a room shit just start flying everywhere because of all of her powers, like that is like the epitome of Mass Effect 1 to me. Like running with the space bitches is like everything to me. And I got to be able to run with the space bitches a lot faster. Like halfway through the game, I was just like, I think I got them at a place where I can actually run with them and everything will be alright. So, but yeah, but like I said, I am more watching this other person play than I am watching myself. I mean, that I am playing the game myself, and I am enjoying this way more. And it's also another thing of like watching. It's like watching someone do like a live review of like Infinity War, and then just watching them get to that moment and watching them get to the snap and seeing the look on their face. Like that, I mean, I enjoy shit like that. I mean, I live on YouTube, so like watching reactions and stuff like that, and like watching something that I know about, and then watching this person who's watching it for the first time, like watching their reactions and their faces when shit happens. That shit really interests me personally, and that's part of the reason why I'm watching this. Like all of the twists and turns and the changes in people from game to game, and it was like, holy shit, that's Jack. She's a teacher, like that type of thing. Like I enjoy that, but I know like a lot of people probably wouldn't. And I don't want to make this Mass Effect heavy. I know the last episode was Mass Effect heavy, but go ahead.
Is this person that you're watching playing like bad to be like ironic, or they're just a bad player, like they just don't have the skills? Like I'm trying to like, what's the angle here? Are they like, is that their gimmick? Like watch me play bad games ironically?
No, she's not being ironic. She is playing this for the first time for real, and like the like some of the mechanics and stuff are passing her by. She spends half of the game not realizing that instead of pulling up the menu and selecting your powers, you could just press the button. You know what I mean? Like you could just, you can map into a button and just press the button. Like that would be great if you would just like remember. And like halfway through too, like she got it at some point. But like I had to watch her struggle through half of a game trying to figure out why she's not doing very well. And it's just like, yeah, you picked the Vanguard and you're not charging in. You refuse to use a shotgun. Like all of these things that are like, these things are integral to your character. Vanguards use shotgun. They charge in and they blow shit up and they get the fuck out of there. Like this is how this character plays. And she's just like, no, I don't like shotguns.
But she liked the word Vanguard.
I'm guessing so, because she was a Vanguard. She's been a Vanguard in all 3 games. And
she was just like, I thought I was just guarding vans. I don't know what this is all about.
Yeah. I thought there would be shoes here. I hate myself. So I just wanted to admit, like, I am enjoying myself doing this, and eventually I'm going to get back to the game because I'm really, really enjoying this, even to the point to where I'm neglecting. Blue actually bought me a PC game, and I haven't played it yet because I'm spending all of my time doing this. So I need to actually get to that. He actually, Blue, was looking at some deals on GOG, and he got me Project Hospital, which is a game that I did want to play. It's been, he kind of looked on my Steam wish list and was like, "Hey, you want this?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, man!" he got it for me. I think he looked out for you too, Chase, right?
Yeah, with the Splinter Cell, like the newest. It's not new anymore, but it's the newest one. Blacklist, I think it is. Yeah, which is one I didn't have. I actually had a little bit of a topic or a question or a talking point, I guess. It's something I found on Reddit.
Wow. Okay.
I don't really follow anything really like crazy on Reddit. This was actually pretty much on the most benign thing. It was just on the PC Master Race subreddit, which is mostly just people showing their builds, right? And let me see, where do you find? There we go. Save.
So, as soon as you said PC Master Race, I'm like, okay, so these are not my people.
No.
That's what you're saying? These are not my people? Yeah, okay.
Okay, at first it just shows a computer with some RGB, you know what I mean, and a screen that looks like it's kind of fucked up. And it's like, just inherited this gaming PC, what do I do? And I know the people listening to the podcast can't, but the people watching can. Let's see. But you can kind of see it's got this big white thing on there. Mm-hmm. That's, what is it? So I was thinking, he just, what do I do with this? Can I fix this? Right? It goes a little bit deeper than this shit, alright? So I was wondering what you guys would do in this situation. Of course you'd be wanting to buy a new monitor. That's not fixable. So that's not the problem. It just looks like the problem. So
yeah, that would have been my answer. It looks like the monitor's fucked up.
Okay, so in the comments he posted, this was left to me after someone committed suicide. Unfortunately, they had a ton of illegal stuff on this computer. Anyway, I completely reset the drive to wipe out all that and start new. And someone said, what kind of illegal? Pirated games or like child porn? He was like, yep, the latter.
What's the talking point here?
What would you guys do? Would you guys say, you guys don't have a gaming PC and whatnot? Someone you guys may have known, maybe it's a Facebook friend from high school, and then they, killed themselves, and you found out they had child porn on their computer, and you inherited the computer somehow.
Wipe the drive, Lysol, everything.
But would you be able to, even feel like, this is my gaming PC, knowing it was, a pedophile's PC?
That's where the Lysol comes in. What the fuck you mean?
I mean, so they weren't given a heads up, obviously, right? They weren't because the person killed themselves, you said, and all of a sudden, how did they inherit it? How did they get the PC?
I'm guessing it must have been a family member's that,
right?
Maybe an uncle or something.
Yeah, you don't mess around with crap like that. You know what I'm saying?
Because even if you wipe the drive, there's artifacts there,
Right. You might just.
Yeah. Just.
Yeah, I know it's not good. It's not good podcast fodder, and there's no pun on bad fodder figures that. But almost just got to go to the authorities. It's like, take this from me. This is, I don't want this.
Take this drive. I'm keeping the PC.
I don't want this associated to me whatsoever.
Right.
Because I like you guys said, you wipe it. I don't know enough about. Maybe there's some people out there that know enough about it to wipe the stuff clean, but then you almost look like you're guilty, right? How do the authorities know that you inherited this? And I don't know. I don't know enough about that. Different IP address, and all of a sudden it's showing up at someone else's IP, and you say, "Hey, 2 and 2 to add together. This was Joe's, and Joe offed himself, and Joe's mother said I could have it now, and here I am." I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
That hold up in a court of law.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that I would be like, yeah, dude, I'm just gonna maybe I'll take the graphics card, but other than that, you guys can have it all.
I'm not looking to give PC in the mouth. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna take the drive out, and I'll replace it with a brand new drive. I'll load all of my stuff on there, and I'll continue on with the PC. Of course, Lysol, everything. But,
and a new monitor, of course, because it's fucked up.
Right. So I would, my first order of business would be, okay, did I connect to the internet on this thing first? If I did, then maybe I would consider giving this whole thing up to the popo. It's like, hey, bruh, I inherited this PC. There's some things here. I'm gonna need y'all to do something about this. I don't want you to think it's me. There's a part where you you're in a situation where you got to make a real decision about like what. I don't know. I think I would just remove the drive.
Yeah.
I would completely remove the drive. I would replace the drive. I would use the PC personally, and of course, I saw everything.
Yeah.
What did the people in Reddit say? What was the overall consensus?
To not wipe it, to get a completely new drive.
Yeah, don't try to look like you're covering your tracks. Just immediately disengage it from the computer, and then just get something new. Don't look like you've tried to hide anything, right?
Yeah. Right, and plus, if you don't wipe it, you could. Well, apparently, it already wiped it. But if they could like get maybe that whoever looks through that kind of stuff, they might could find,
the source, the originator.
Yeah, and help people.
Yeah. Be able to track some shit.
Hell of a topic you bring into the show tonight, Chase.
Yeah. Way to break it all down, buddy.
I've been on Reddit a couple times, 3 times, and this was the gem that you picked out of the Reddit hopper, huh?
Yep. Actually, I sent one of those a topic to Matt. Like, I don't know if he got it or not, or if he saw it, but it was a local one. I actually saw it on the news. I guess he hadn't talked about it in the last couple of shows, so I'll go ahead and talk about it. There was like a restaurant manager, right, in Raleigh, and she was doing herself with a banana in her office on OnlyFans, and someone saw the OnlyFans and reported it because they were like, "Oh, that could be from something I'm eating or whatever." But then I was like, "Holy shit!" For one, it's OnlyFans, right? So they would have had to be a subscriber of hers. Not only a subscriber of hers, they would be paying her money because it's OnlyFans.
I'm not speaking from experience here, but if there is enough things that you can find on Reddit where people either like they pull stuff down from OnlyFans and they post it, so all it takes is one person to capture the shit, right? And then that person, takes screenshots and uploads it somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can see that. But what kind of herb? Kind of herb would be like, that might be a banana I'm gonna eat.
Yeah.
It's like the people who get upset about breastfeeding in public. It's like, who doesn't like boobies? What's wrong with you, dude? Like, I get it. There's a baby there. I get it. There's a baby there. There's boobies. There's a little bit of confusion. But there's still boobies there, dog. Like, why are you so upset about this?
They got nothing better to do. People got,
Yeah, I find the whole thing about breastfeeding to be like super weird, and people get really, really weird about breastfeeding, especially breastfeeding in public. But I'm like, yo, dog, did you see that breastfeeding in public, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, she had them things. Like, that's what I'm like. Like, yo, mommy got them things. Like, let us all enjoy the beauty of them things. Like, what is? I mean, I get it. Like, we mentally, you cut out the baby. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just, mental Photoshop. Like, when you.
But you also can't be standing there staring, like eating your McRib,
Nah, like what you do is whoever you're with, especially if you're with your lady, this is how you do it. Talk shit about her. Talk shit about her. If you
but that's how you end up with those conversations. Oh man, fuck this breastfeeding in public. And he's really just like mad because he can't enjoy it because his lady's there.
No, what you do is you talk shit about the baby. Like the baby, wow, that baby is really going at it. Like he's like
look at the grip on that one.
Like I mean, he seems to really have a handle on this. Like, you know what I mean? Like in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, you talk shit about the baby, you don't talk shit about the boobies. Like, what are we doing here?
I thought when you said talk shit about the baby, I thought you were gonna go straight up like, look at that ugly ass baby. Fuck that baby.
Damn, baby's got the head of the size of a basketball. It's covering up my view.
Yes, that's what you do. That's what you do. Like, that's how you get away with it. That's 100% how you get away with it. But yeah, I find all of this to be weird. And like the whole OnlyFans thing, like I don't get it.
I don't get it at all.
Because like, yo, dog.
We
like,
just got out of having to pay for this stuff. Like, we had to pay for this stuff back in the 90s. We don't have to do that no more. Now you're going back to that?
There's websites. You can go to xnxx.com and you can watch whatever you want. It's all there. And I mean, really, it's like, all there.
And there's like no virus. Like before, it was like, oh, you can go to a website, there's viruses and stuff. But now, it's basically going to YouTube.
Exactly.
I think there's some people out there that want to be part of the conversation. They feel like they're not doing it, I don't think, to see the content. They're doing it there that hopefully the content creator sees them and they can make some sort of connection on a personal level. And, that's like going to a strip joint and say, I'm going to go find myself a girlfriend. That never plays out unless you got deep pockets, very deep pockets.
Yeah, okay. I might make this might be a reference that might not connect with you two, but like, here goes. It's like that Herb dude from the Players Club. If y'all have ever seen the Players Club, which I mean, you guys are white dudes, you may not have. I mean, it's kind of a low budget movie, but like there's this guy who the Players Club is a strip club, and the main character is a stripper at the club, and one of her regulars follows her home one day. And she's just like, yo, what are you doing? He was like, I make sure you get home every day. He said, this is the first time I said anything, but like, I make sure you get home every day. I'm making sure that you're all right. Do you need anything? Can I get something for you? She's like, no, motherfucker, you creeping me the fuck out right now. Like they're like those people that lurk on OnlyFans that try to get attention. Like, why would you want attention from someone? You really want attention. What's up, Blue? Why would you want attention from someone who's already doing this for attention? Like, you do realize that you trying to get attention is harming her attention, right?
Yeah, I don't get the logic there, but there's got to be plenty of people out there like that because there's some people making a lot of bills, a lot of dollar bills.
Yeah, the Catch Me Outside girl. When she turned 18, she did an OnlyFans. She made like $1 million in the first week.
All that was Dr. Phil.
I've done some stupid stuff maybe in my time, but I've never once subscribed to anything like that. Whatever was before OnlyFans and now.
See, here's the thing. Here's why
you might as well just throw money in a toilet and flush it.
Yeah. See, here's why I don't subscribe to anything like that. Okay, so back in the 90s, right? Late 90s, because I didn't get my own computer until the late 90s. I came across this website. And on this website, you had to register. So what I did was I created a Yahoo email. I never use Yahoo. So like if I had to register some shit I don't care about, I just go to the Yahoo email. So I registered the Yahoo email and I could see what I'm seeing and everything was fine. Until I started getting emails about other stuff. Because now I'm on a mailing list of perverts. And now I'm officially a pervert, and they started sending me all kinds of perverted stuff. So they sent me an email, and the email is just like, you'll never guess what we have in store for you. It's like, oh, really? Really now, website? What do we have here? Surprise, is bestiality. Fuck. I just saw bestiality. And I never went to that Yahoo email ever again. I stopped going to that site. I have never registered to anything ever again after that. Fuck that.
I saw some of that like in Europe when we were on tour, and you go to those like, adult places with the jerk boots and everything like that, and you're flipping through the channels. You just don't know. You're friggin', you're just sitting there with a button, boom, 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 and all of a sudden you're like some chick and a dog. I'm like, that's it? The mood is gone? I'm out?
Grand closing. Grand opening, grand closing, really that fast. Yeah, that's just I don't understand that. I don't understand the whole thing with animals. Like, I'm not in any way, shape, or form an animal lover of just like being like someone who likes like dogs and stuff like that. Like, it's just not my thing. I don't really dig animals. I had some fish; they kept dying because I kept forgetting about them. And you know, I even did the thing where I did the automatic feeder and stuff like that. But after that shit ran out, I kind of forgot for a couple of days. You know, and then I would just go to Walmart and buy new fish. And like, so I was a terrible fish. I was a terrible fish owner. But so I'm not an animal lover in any way. So at no point would it ever cross my mind that, hey, there's a dog here.
They just busted some guy locally around here. He was breaking into horse stalls at night. And I guess he had like a whole like platform set up and everything. He knew he was an expert, and they caught him on film.
Wow.
Showed him like walking in, like going like right behind the horse, had everything like down to a science, in and out quick, no pun intended. But they busted his ass. They got him on camera.
He had a step stool.
He had some sort of apparatus that let him get right down to it very quickly. There was no fuss, no muss.
Stilts.
Like those, you ever have someone in your house like do the plastering?
I can't believe one of those horses did just like...
Yeah, the ones that go around like your calf muscle.
yeah.
The ones that they wear when they're doing motion capture for like aliens with different legs, like one of those.
I can't believe he didn't get fucking kicked by one of those horses. I mean, you would think
that's what they said. They said in the article that I was reading, they said it was not his first time, that he came prepared and was in and out, and there was no, like, yeah, you know, you've seen some stories in the past where some guy's, like, drunk and tries to do something and gets, like, mauled by the horse or, like, stepped over. But they said this guy was very, very well versed with being around horses.
I saw a thing I saw a thing years ago. I think it was on Vice or something like that, where it was, like, some village in South America where, like, the young men, when they become of age, they kind of go up the mountain and practice on sheep. And it was like normal. This was like, you know, this was like very, very normalized in their community. Like, they go and they practice on sheep. And like, it was like a rite of passage. And I'm just like, well, first of all, why are we doing a story about this? And second of all, how did your society kind of turn into this?
Any sheep I've ever seen, they've always been dirty, and I always got those like friggin', you know, butt dongles of hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
those clumps of nastiness near their butt. I don't want to get around any of that.
Hell no. I just don't get it. We should probably change the subject.
Yeah, we're over here talking about bestiality. How do we get?
Because you brought up the yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, but
yeah, Reddit.
Yeah. Or the banana. But
during the last show, did I talk about how fucking terrible Birds of Prey is?
I know you did Friday night, but I'm not sure if you did on the show.
Okay, so I didn't do this on the show. Okay, so my daughter is here for the summer. There's something that that her mom wanted her to watch, but it's on HBO. I don't have HBO. So her mom did a trial. So my daughter's watching her show, and then she wants to watch The Suicide Squad. Me, personally, I didn't have a huge issue with the Suicide Squad movie. It was, it was okay. Like, it wasn't, it wasn't like the worst movie ever. Like, I've seen some stinkers. Suicide Squad is not a stinker. It's not a great movie. It's a tolerably bad movie.
It's a forgettable movie.
Yes, it's very forgettable. I will say that. That's the best way to say it. It's a forgettable movie. And then after that, she wanted to watch Birds of Prey. Now, I personally want to watch the Snyder Cut because I've never seen the Snyder Cut. Even though I think the Snyder Cut is some bullshit. go back to
You need
previous
to carve out some
episodes.
3 hours for one movie.
Yeah, so I personally think this. I mean, I've been watching this lady play Mass Effect badly for hours upon hours.
Okay, touche.
So I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I can deal with a 3-hour movie. But then she said that she wanted to watch Birds of Prey, and I'm like, okay. I thought that like you needed something in between there, but I guess the DCEU is kind of disjointed, and like you don't necessarily need to watch all of the movies in order like Marvel. I'm guessing because this had nothing to do really with the other ones. It didn't really have much to do with Suicide Squad, to be honest. So this movie is fucking terrible. Like, it is bad. If you've never seen Birds of Prey, do not waste your time. Even if you have HBO and you have HBO Max, don't waste your money on this. Don't waste your time, don't waste your money, don't waste your energy. This movie is 100% garbage. Like, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I went to sleep, right? And there's movies that I've fallen asleep on that are bad movies, and like I saw the beginning of the movie, fell asleep, and woke up during the credits, and I'm like, holy shit, I missed that whole movie. Yes, Blair Witch Project and Twilight. Say hello. So both of those movies, I saw the very beginning of the movie, fell asleep, woke up during the credits, and was like, oh shit, I missed the whole movie. That's awesome. I fell asleep. Yeah, Blair Witch, I swear. I fell asleep, and then I woke up. All I heard, like, them screaming Josh's name is what woke me up. Like,
What year did that come out? That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
1999.
Yeah.
I actually dug Blair Witch, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just didn't care. Like, the found footage movies, like, it's Cloverfield or nothing. With me, like, I don't know about other found footage movies. Probably most of the other found footage movies would probably be in the horror genre.
No Zombie Holocaust?
I don't know any. Like I said, I don't know any other found footage movies. It's just basically Cloverfield for me, because I didn't see most of Blair Witch. But I went to sleep. I woke up, and it was still like 40 minutes of this movie left, and I was upset that I didn't sleep through the whole movie. That's how bad it was. I was upset that I didn't sleep through the shit. Like, I was more upset that I woke up too early than anything else. Like, it was so bad. And like, here's the thing. You have Black Canary in this movie, right? And Black Canary doesn't actually use her canary cry until the very end of the movie. It is just like, that scene in Infinity War where Scarlet Witch jumps down and starts wrecking shop, and Okoye is like, why was she up there this whole time? Like, that type of thing. That is exactly how I felt about the Black Canary in this movie. Like, why didn't you just use this? Like, you've been sitting here with us this whole time. You could have done this to help us out, and you ain't do shit. I was highly upset. Like, I swear I was way more upset that I did not sleep through the whole movie than anything else. Chase just walked away. I don't know where he went to the bathroom or some shit. So, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. What's up, dog?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Yeah, sorry for being so late, man. I was out eating, and we had like the slowest, worst service of my life. Wasn't there like an hour and a half?
There's nothing worse than just bad service. Like, even if the food is bad, if the service is good, you can kind of let it slide. But if both are bad, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, like worst case scenario. What was bad was like, it's one of those situations where there was just like one waitress, like obviously understaffed. You just like feel bad for this like poor girl just busting her ass. But anyway,
yeah, that sucks. I hated every second of that movie. Like Rosie Perez is a cop in this movie. Why is Rosie Perez a cop in any movie?
What's up, Dylan?
like seriously, why is Rosie Perez a cop? We've
Trying
already
to locate it at the moment.
We've already exchanged pleasantries. You were gone. So
Timing, Chase.
Yeah,
As always.
Yep.
Yeah, that movie is terrible. Like Ethan Hawke plays a bad guy in this movie. Like, first of all, Birds of Prey.
So Ethan Hawke
is Black Mask,
a bad guy in Birds of Prey.
Yes, absolutely. Black Mask. Like, for real.
That's kind of funny. I liked that.
It's so bad. It's really, really bad. And don't waste your time with this movie. I know most people haven't. So I'm just saying, like, if you haven't, don't even waste your time. Just keep it moving. I think the new Suicide Squad comes out next week, right? Or no, it comes out this week. It comes out Friday.
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
So is it? I was always one that when a video game was very bad, I wanted to see how bad it was and play it. But you're saying it's so bad, you shouldn't even watch it. Just it's not.
Yep.
I used to love playing those 360 video games, like those B-level, C-level games. That someone got a large investment and they made these games, and they were just like train wrecks. I used to love playing those.
Oh, we talked about previously how Major Nelson sold me on the outfit, and I still hate him for that this day. To this day. Major Nelson sold me the outfit because he talked about it on his show so bad. So when I got a 360, I got that shit, and it was terrible. And I
think I know which game you're talking about. I gotta look that up. Was that like in a jungle setting?
It was like
third world country.
It was like a military game, and then like you can call equipment down, and they just drop it from the sky or some shit. It was one of the early.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, I didn't play that one, but I did play some of those other really bad 360 games. I used to love those. Those used to be my jam, man. Just playing those mediocre, B-level games.
I loved one that I loved and no one has ever heard of. Was it an Xbox game or was it a 360 game? It might have even been an Xbox game. It's called Raises Hell.
Raisin Hell?
Raises RAZE' Hell. Raises Hell. So, in this game, you are a monster. All of the enemies are these cute little kind of Care Bear Teletubby things that are shooting at you. And what happens is Ray's basically absorbs plants, and the different colored plants are different guns. He shoots them out of his mouth. He inhales in like one of them is like the machine gun plant, one is the sniper plant and stuff like that. And how you get your health back after you kill these little Teletubby Care Bear things, you smash them to bits and suck up the giblets, and that's how you get your health back. And then you have, and like the crazy part about it is like they have guns and they have armor and stuff like that, and they're very much trying to kill you, but they still talk like Teletubby Care Bears, and they look like Teletubby Care Bears, and it is the most awesome B game that no one has ever heard of.
What was that bear game that was out on the 360 generation? It was a bear game. Naughty Bear? That ringing a bell?
Yeah. That's it. I think that's what you're talking about, at least.
Any other bad games that you really liked?
Well, I mean, in the first
I don't know if you'd say like the 50 Cent game was that great, but I really loved that one.
I loved Blood on the Sand a lot. I wish that game was backwards compatible. That game's amazing.
Like those Army of Two games.
Yes. Well, the second one was just bad. The first one was bad in a good way.
Right.
I used to work at GameStop, and when I worked at GameStop, 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, we sold a ton of those. Like, a ton of those. And it was always little kids wanting their parents to come buy it. And then, of course, we had to explain, like, hey, you're buying an M-rated game for this child. And then the child just starts whining and complaining, and they're just like, oh, fine, just buy it. But we sold a ton of those. That, and for some reason, Ed, and Eddie game.
Oh, I remember that.
We sold a shit ton of those. I worked at GameStop during... around the time of the launch of the 360. So,
like around the what was it, the Destroy All Humans games? They had a few of those come out for a while.
Yes. Yep. I don't think I ever really got into one of those. I think I played a demo once and was just like, oh, this was cool. I don't know.
Yeah, that was all I ever saw. I never played it, and I just saw they kept coming out. I think there was at least 2 of them, so somebody must have liked it. Yeah. I just remember those looked kind of ridiculous. And then they had those Leisure Suit Larry games around that time, 360 time. I never knew what that was about either.
I had heard about the older games, and I realized that it was not a game for me. What about the Guy game? Like the Guy game where it was like some kind of trivia game, and like the more you play it, the more you can actually possibly see something. Was it called the Guy game?
Maybe.
Don't remember that one.
Yeah, it was
They had a few like that though at the same time when that was. I guess that was a thing for like a few months.
I don't know if it was the Guy game. Yeah, I think it's called the Guy game, and it's like supposedly the more you play it, the more you can possibly see some actual boobies.
That's hilarious. I just remember like the teenage boys would just be in like GameStop, just like looking at the back of those cases, like.
Yeah, I remember looking at cases like this game is going to be awesome. That's kind of how I got suckered into Brutal Legend.
I kind of miss that when you couldn't just hop online and go watch like 100 reviews of a game. You had to like look at the case and based on like one paragraph make that decision. You're either committed or not.
Wait, you missed that?
I kind of do. Like now I put too much. I feel like before I buy a game, I'll spend like. Sometimes I'll impulse buy, but I'll spend like a week watching videos here and there, at work, wherever. Like sometimes I'll just like convince myself not to get it, and it might have been something good based on reviews. Sometimes I'll end up buying something not even liking it. I kind of miss just the easy choice.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way right now with Farm Manager 2021.
Well, I was about to say that to where like there'll be games to where I would like. I never like got a game to where I was like, oh man, this is terrible. But they were games to where were not like 10 out of 10 games like The Darkness and Time Shift and games like that were coming out that I really liked, but it wasn't like I like them. But like if you read a review, it's like, oh, this is not the best game ever, and I'm like, well, I thought it was great, because that's what you got and that's what you played,
I guess it was bad too because they could just get you with like marketing. Like I remember the Star Wars Bounty Hunter games. Like everybody was buying them because it was Star Wars. But like now you can watch a review and be like, oh, just because this has a AAA name behind it, film series, it's a bad game. I'm not buying it. It used to, you just put that on the cover. Yeah.
Now you can figure it out these days by just seeing if it has an EA logo on it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say something and then I lost it.
I'd rather go with the EA logo than the Blizzard Activision right now.
I don't have an idea. I don't really know. Like, I'm kind of out of the loop when it comes to this. Of course, I've been spending all of my time watching a lady play Mass Effect badly. So, like, what is the deal with the Activision Blizzard thing?
Well, Mike could probably tell a little bit more, but like at first I thought it was just. Well, it was just funny to say this, but like you're running a mill. Oh, it's just companies having no accountability, and then there's bad stuff that happens, like at Ubisoft and whatnot. But this seems like a lot deeper. It's just crazy. But the good thing is that the only thing that you would really care about is Diablo. At least with like Ubisoft, you have Division and Far Cry and stuff. You're like, I don't really want to give up Far Cry for a moral stance, but it's pretty easy to give up Blizzard because they're not really putting anything out that I fucking care about. that anybody cares about.
It's just corporate, like all monetary. Like they know that they don't have to make a good game to make money. That's what they're so big. That's what their shareholders care about. If they can show them that, hey, we're gonna put all this money in marketing, we're gonna get this many buys off the bat. They're like, all right, go for it. Let's cut the funding. Let's get it out quick and just get that money. And they don't really care if it's.
Well, Mike, can you explain a little bit better about the Blizzard thing?
It just seemed like bro culture to the extreme, right? Like, I've worked in a lot of corporate environments, and I've never seen, they called like it a cube crawl. Like people were like crawling around people's cubes, like literally like doing like perverted stuff. Obviously the women were paid less and they didn't, get the promotions. They were passed over for someone more like in the bro culture. But this cube crawl thing seemed very weird and perverted. But then they also, at some of these conventions, would have something called the Cosby Suite. And they would have...
Wait, hold on.
Oh, no.
A Cosby Suite? Like...
Right, they would have this big picture of Bill Cosby, and all these bros would be around Bill Cosby, doing bro stuff, and they would, talking... I guess they had, like, Facebook groups and talking, badly about women and bringing women into the Cosby Suite, and
this seems like...
Some guy was like... guy was like, I can't marry all of them, and the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry, you misspelled marry, you meant to say fuck, and all this stuff got leaked out. There was in like Facebook groups, but women were also there too, like in this Cosby Suite. So this was from like 2013, where maybe people, how would you say, people had blew it off as maybe more of a joke than they do in 2021, and there was women there posing with Cosby too and grabbing each other's breasts. But there seems to be a lot of poor choices. Men behaving very badly beyond the, hey, look at her, and catcalling and doing something like that. Maybe when you have one or too many drinks, it seemed crawling around females' cubes, sniffing their seats, and having Cosby Suites seems a little to the extreme.
So they basically turned their office into Mad Men.
They were
modern Mad Men to the extreme.
So, but on a kind of a lighter note, it does seem like you said everyone's saying all this bro culture. That bro culture is something that applied to the people that made World of Warcraft. So it's like, were they like the biggest posers ever? Like it's like almost like you would find a band that's supposed to be like this like street punk, like grew up on the streets and all this stuff and all this, they're super gritty, and then you find out they're like trust fund kids. It's like they're just like
yeah.
So you're like, yeah, they're doing awful stuff, but it's also you're like, wait a minute, these dudes probably. The guys who made World of Warcraft probably don't know anything about anything World of Warcraft.
Like those dudes that they used to have that reality show with the beards and stuff like that. What was that shit called? Duck Dynasty?
Yeah.
Like when you find out who those guys really were, it's just like all that shit was an act. I mean, except for the dad. The dad seems very, very entrenched on his beliefs.
He's very committed.
Yeah, he's super committed to the cause. But, like, the rest of them, like, prior to that show, they were all, like, yuppies. And they just put it on for the show, and it was just like, holy shit, this working. We might as well keep doing this.
And the dad was, like, famous before then, too. Wasn't he, like, some sort of coach or something? Some sort of football something.
Look at me.
Yeah, I know.
Those aren't my people. Like I don't know very much about them. I just know that the dad seems to be committed to the cause even way after the fact.
Yeah. So I was watching some video today where he was talking about coffee, and he was like saying people who essentially don't have anything but black coffee, they're questionable human beings. Like coffee isn't supposed to taste good. Coffee's supposed to wake your ass up and get your ass through the day. Not something here where you put frappuccino on this and this on that and add all this sugar and caramel. No, it's supposed to be black and gritty and burn your stomach and get you through the goddamn day.
Wait, so he's the one that's on Xbox Live? Like frappuccinos are gay. Like he's that guy?
I saw this video. He's got like, you know, a Facebook series or something like that where he goes on all these like diatribes, and he was going off about coffee.
Wow. That's just weird. Like, of all things to be up in arms about, like, coffee? Like, really, dude? Like, that's your line is coffee. Like, of all of the things that you could be upset about.
Seems like he's too interested in what other people's lives. But yeah, it seems like on Friday you said that you had some car troubles.
Yeah, man, my car broke down. Okay, so here's what had happened. I am not a car person. I am not very handy. I could probably fix your computer. You're on your own with your car. So I went to lunch, and on my way back from lunch, my car just kind of jerked. And then my check engine light came on, my battery light came on, my brake light came on, all at the same time. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And then my car was just acting very, very, very weird. And me not knowing anything about cars, I just kind of like, you know, I tried to play it up because where I work, the two people that I work closest to are two older white ladies. One is 10 years older than me. One's 20 years older than me. So like, I gotta try to be a man. Like, I gotta appear. So like, I kind of opened the hood and was like checking my fluids and shit like that. Like, what went wrong? You know, they like trying to figure this shit out. And like, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. So I look at the car and I'm just like, I can't figure this out. So I send my sister a message. Her husband is a mechanic, and he and so she forwards the message to him, and he says, it sounds like you might have a problem with your belt, like one of your belts might be out. And so I'm like, all right, cool. So I pop the hood back open, and the fucking belt is gone. It's not broken. It is completely gone. Like, when this shit jerked, I guess the belt broke, and then of course I drove the rest of the way, not very far, but I drove the rest of the way back to work, and somewhere along those lines, that fucking alternator belt was fucking gone. Like, completely. The shit was, it was clean. Like, all of those little, what do you call them?
Grooves?
No, just the
pulleys.
The thing that pulleys, yeah, the pulleys. All of that shit was clean. There was just nothing there. So my brother-in-law, I thank God for my brother-in-law, because he was at work, and he left work, drove an hour to me because I live about 45 minutes to an hour away. He drove an hour after he got off work. I borrowed the car because I work for a moving company, but we do have a car. Like, if we can't get everybody there in the truck, like, you know, we have a car that they can take with them so that all of the people can be a part of the job, that type of thing. So I borrowed that, and I went and bought the belt and all that kind of stuff. And he drove all the way up there and put that belt on. And it was like the easiest thing in the world to him. Like, it was just like, oh yeah, you just do this and do that, do this, hold this for me. Like that type of thing. Got it. And he was done in like 10 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he had the little weird thing that looked like a drill that just took the fucking tire off and all this kind of shit. And I'm just kind of like, you know, I went inside. I walked inside of the building because I was still at work. I walked inside of the building. And I came back. The fucking tire was off. He's pulling other shit off of these little plastic things that are inside of the wheel well, I guess you would call it. All that shit was off. And I was like, I wasn't even going that long, and you got all this shit done? He was like, yeah, it was easy. And I'm like, I would be still in the process of trying to figure out how the fuck to get the wheel off at this point. But like, he got everything straight, and thank God for my brother-in-law, because without him, I would have been screwed, because my intention was to drive my car home, because I had no other way to get home. So, like, my intention was to drive my car home or just kind of borrow the work car and take that home until I got everything figured out. But so I didn't have to do that. But like, yeah, the belt was gone. It was clean. There was nothing there, nothing at all. So yeah. And then the worst part about it is there are some things that was happening with my car that I probably should have been aware that belt was probably going to go. And I just completely ignored it. Just kind of like, oh, my car's acting a little funny. And then I just kept it moving. I am the worst kind of person with cars. I just realized that. I am the worst kind of person with cars. I am the person that the mechanics take advantage of because I don't know shit about what's happening. Like, he was telling me about, like, what each of those pulleys actually did. And I'm just kind of like, I'm just kind of like when you're young and you talk to your kids, talk to your kids are talking to you. Well, if you're an adult and, like, your kids are talking to you about Pokemon, and you're just kind of like, oh,
yep.
Like, yeah, that's how I was when he was telling me about the car. So, like,
talk to Dylan about Pokemon, he'd be like, man, you don't know shit about Pokemon.
Yeah, I should probably read a little bit more about how this thing actually works, because I felt so helpless in that moment. And like I said, I fully intended to drive my car home. I was like, I'm just going to get this thing home and I'll figure it out when I get home. And that would have been a terrible idea because I had no belt on that car at all.
It's a very underappreciated skill, I feel like. Like, when your car's working fine, somebody's like, oh, this guy's great working on cars. You're just like, whatever. Like, as soon as, you need that, it's something you always wish you could do. I've always been so jealous. Like, I've had the same situation. I got a couple old cars and been like, man, I wish I could, like, figure this out right now. To know it's just sitting in my driveway and I got to call somebody.
Right. Yeah.
We were in a family vacation in Scotland a few years ago, and they hooked us. They thought they were doing us a favor by upgrading us to, like, some fucking BMW, like, wagon. And have you ever seen the BMW tires? They're so fucking thin. And so we have a family of 5, and all these roads and, like, back, hills of Scotland haven't been taken care of in forever. And sure as shit, like, 15 miles away from, like, where we need to go, tire. And it was late at night. My wife just fucking drove on the fucking the busted tire and rim for fucking, like, 15 miles till we got to the hotel and dealt with it the next day.
They'll have run flats. They running flat today. Today.
So what's been going on with you, Dylan?
Not much, man. Just moved back to Kentucky, so I've been dealing with all that. Moving sucks. I've moved twice since I've been an adult, and all the time you always look forward to, like, moving or, like, getting a new place, but then once you get in the process of moving, there is nobody that can tell me they enjoy moving. It is a pain in the
I work for a moving company.
So firsthand.
I am the guy that you call when it's time to try to schedule your move or to quote your move.
That's what my best friend said. He's like, you get movers next time.
Absolutely. Like, I will, when I moved here, I paid some coworkers to do it. Like, I paid them out of pocket. My boss let them use let them use one of the trucks, and they did all of the driving. They did all of the moving. All I did was just paid those guys about $100 each, and they got all of this shit moved. There's no way I could have did this shit by myself, because, like, I live an hour away from the majority of my family. So, like, I didn't really have nobody here that can help me actually move.
Yeah.
Like, the only person that I have here is an ex-girlfriend who I was just leaving. So, like, I couldn't really, she can't help me. So, like, shit was just fucked up. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing this. I had this place for maybe about 2 weeks prior to me actually moving in, because I was waiting for them to be free in order to.
How much is it to normally have someone move?
It really depends. It really depends on if it's a local move.
Like what you just did.
What I just did would have probably cost me a G.
Okay.
Yeah, I was probably going to be out like $2,000, and I spent probably because at first I was like, you know what, I'm going to get a couple of my buddies. I'm gonna pay them in beer. We're gonna get a U-Haul. Drive up here. So I got a U-Haul. Already out $500. Got up there, and I'm like, we're gonna be done in 2 to 3 hours. It's easy, guys. Don't worry about it. We were there 12, 13 hours. Like, we ended up having to stay that night. Everybody was so tired. Like, everyone was sore backs the next day, and we didn't even get half the stuff. I was like, yeah, all this stuff will fit in a U-Haul. We got about half of it. I had to rent another U-Haul, drive it back another 6-hour round trip to get it all again. So ended up, I probably could have saved all that money, same price, got movers, saved our backs by getting movers, and saved all that time.
That's what I was about to say. Like
here's the only problem. Here's the only problem with that, working for a moving company. Most moving companies, especially when you're going across state lines, have a delivery spread. So that means a lot of them have an up to a 10-day delivery spread. So like after they pick your stuff up, they have 10 days to actually get it to you. So you got to figure out what the fuck you're going to do for 10 days.
Yeah, no, that would have been rough.
So yeah, that's pretty. That can get pretty crazy.
Now I did have my last job. They like moved me as part of coming and getting the job, and I don't know how much money they spent because it was a 4-hour move. These guys showed up in a 18-wheeler, loaded my entire house. I wasn't there. I was gone 10 hours. Came back, the house was empty. Went to the new house. They had it there the next morning, and they had individually wrapped everything, like plates, cups. So, like I thought moving was easy. Last time I moved, everything just showed up at my house. Now I try to do it myself this time, and will never do that again.
Yeah, that's why I work in the office.
Yeah, I saw.
I answer the phone.
I saw a Hard Times article because I was about to put the actual price there, but it was like, a guy pays his friends in pizza and beer for like $1,000 worth of free labor.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
But what's been going on with you, Mike?
So going on with me?
Yeah.
Fucking lot of work, man. Work is busy. I work for a bank. Just a lot of changes. We just inherited a team of 15 people. Just one of the other lines of business got closed down. So these it's not a gift to be inherited 15 people that their jobs are about to be terminated, and now they don't want to come work for your line of business. So been dealing with that a lot at work. But just around here, just we had a big renovation project just wrap up, so that's good. And playing a bunch of games, enjoying the Ascent on Xbox.
I didn't enjoy it too good, but I didn't get to play with you guys, and I had a bunch of problems. But
yeah, it's kind of like Diablo, 3, but with cyberpunk setting. That's how I look at it. Yeah, it's got similar upgrade path.
Isn't it like a twin stick shooter, basically?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yes. If you've played things like Alien Nation or Dead Nation,
I would say it's a mix between a twin stick shooter and Diablo because when I played it, its movement is twin stick shooter, but it does have Diablo-esque things like getting loot and leveling up and stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of loot that really rewards you for exploring around. I know when you're playing co-op, sometimes you can get wrapped up with just getting from A to B. But you really got to explore because you'll level up your character. You'll find a bunch of loot that you can use, various weapons. The game doesn't handle loot the greatest, I feel, in co-op. You share anything that upgrades your characters like weapons, but any sort of credits, money, health is not shared, so it's like a free-for-all. And from what I could tell, if my buddy opened up a chest, I could see what he opened up, and if I swooped in before him, I'd get the health or get the credits. So the money's not shared, the health isn't shared. So,
and that's why I like when they made those changes with Borderlands, and they made it so everybody gets their own stuff. I can't see your stuff unless you pick it up and drop it for me. I can't see your stuff. The only thing I can see is my stuff. So we ain't got to have no problems here. It's just
right. Yeah. So my buddy and Matt and I were playing, and he would get a gun, or he would get, I think, maybe a augmentation, and he said, "Did you get that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got that." So that type of stuff that levels up your character and keeps the progress going was shared, so that was good. But just the other stuff, if you then want to go to a store and buy stuff, well, gee, my buddy Matt hogged all the credits, and I only got $5. You know, that's your SOL. But,
well, I mean, can you? Because in Borderlands, you can like trade and give people credits. Can you be like, oh, how much credits you need? Do you know that?
No, I didn't see anything like that, but possible, I guess. But I didn't see anything.
Yeah, because in the game,
really
like,
beautiful game.
Yeah, I thought so too. But I heard that the Steam version and if you buy it not on Game, I don't know if the regular Xbox version, maybe it's just the Game Pass version on PC. But I heard that whatever Game Pass version is where it has its problems, but the Steam version doesn't have those same problems. But they're working.
And which one did you buy?
I have the Game Pass.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know they probably made that game co-op to bring more people in, you know, to give it more appeal. But I'm not sure how much of that thing is really should be played in co-op. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being old. There's just a lot of action going on screen. All of a sudden, there's so many guys fighting you, coming at you, and then you got a guy next to you, and it's, you know, with those isometric games, you know, a little bit top down. It's, you know, with my eyes, it's tough to fucking see who's who.
Well, and, I mean, when we were playing Diablo,
it's like playing Ultimate Alliance, and you're just like, what the fuck's happening right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how it was in Diablo. In Diablo, like, it's just like colors and stuff going everywhere, and you're like, I don't know what's happening. I just know that I'm not dying and the enemy's dying. That's all I care about.
The only thing I'm noticing right now is particle effects. I watched someone play Ultimate Alliance. I got it for the Switch, and I never used my Switch, so I had one of my coworkers, her grandson was in the office. I was like, yo, you can use the Switch. You know what I mean? Because I ain't using it. I barely touched that thing in like a year. So he started playing, and it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I can't even tell what's happening right now. It's just, everything is just kind of blowing up and flying and all kinds of shit all over the screen. I have no idea what I'm looking at right now. And he seemed to love it. So I'm just like, all right, I guess it's good to be you right now, dog.
That game didn't click with me too much. I don't know. There's something about the hit detection on it felt a little weird.
The Switch one?
Yeah, the Alliance, the Marvel game. Mm-hmm. So I bought it for my son because, you know, he's 8 years old, so he was into it. But both of us played it and was like, I don't know. Something felt a little off on it.
Then y'all played the new remake of Dark Alliance, Dungeons & Dragons.
Me and Mike have been playing it. I don't think it's great.
That original was my favorite game of all time. Like, I haven't tried the new one yet. I was kind of excited, and then I saw mixed reviews. I was just curious how it was.
I mean, it's on Game Pass, and I mean, I would definitely go with it with you or whatnot. But it's fine on Game Pass, but it's not anywhere close to your memories of the old one.
But they changed it, right? It's not like an over-the-head hack and slash anymore.
I mean, it's hack and slash, but it's more behind the body, yeah.
Or RPG.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly, yep.
We're
it's a beautiful looking game.
It's just the combat is just very,
It's not precise. It feels like you can do a lot of things with your characters, but you don't feel like you have a lot of control. It's like, all right, I'm doing this move, but it's going which way it wants to go. It doesn't feel like you can be really hone in on who you want to attack.
Like, my girl is like an archer, but I can also do like karate moves and stuff. So, but when she does it, it's like slow motion. She's like, am I gonna kick you? And it's like the animations are kind of slow.
So she learned how to fight from David Carradine?
Yeah.
I was hoping for like some old school. My buddy Avery down here, we played it when we were kids, and now I live close to him again. And I saw that it was coming out, and I was like, "Oh man, we're going to be couch co-op, over the top, you know, crawling through dungeons." And released, and I started watching gameplay.
You can get the original version on GOG or something and play through that. Probably have it.
Oh, I got it emulated already.
Oh, okay.
You know, the issue with that game for me is I felt like if you put it on anything but the easy level, it got incredibly hard right away. So Chase and I played, I think, on like the third level. Chase thinking it would be normal.
Yeah, it was right in the middle. You know.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and it was anything but normal. And I think we even bumped it down to like the second one, and that was still pretty challenging. We were dying pretty frequently. So I think they needed to do some tweaking there.
But then
That's
easiest
100%
one,
how I felt about Outriders.
but the easiest one was like, don't even feel like we're doing anything. It's like everything's
Right,
fine.
it's just like a hot knife. It's like a hot knife through butter. It's just like you show up in the room and go boo, and everybody just like kills.
It's like
over.
giant boss, and you're like just like.
It's like playing Mass Effect on narrative mode, like Mass Effect 3 or Andromeda on narrative mode. It's so easy. Like it. I mean, I was basically like on Andromeda where you got to fight these like large mechanical things. Like I was just like not necessarily one-shotting them because those are usually like kind of like boss battles. Like this is like a lengthy, like, okay, you need to take your time with this. I was like done in like 30 seconds and I'm like,
Well, I
Wait a
mean,
minute.
you're like shooting and you can see the health bar going down like this.
yeah. And it's just like, really? That's what's happening right now?
I mean,
like,
that's how it was.
I just wanted, I wanted on a subsequent playthrough, not my original playthrough. I played on normal. I didn't Nepo this shit. But I just wanted to play through the game again with a different character. I started off with Sarah. I switched to Scott. I was like, I just want to see how different the story is with Scott instead of Sarah. And so I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to put it on narrative mode. And holy fuck was it easy. Not only that, but you could switch and still do a new game plus.
It's Ninja I play on easy, not Ninja I play on narrative.
Yeah, it was worse. It's so bad, and it's kind of boring.
I'm trying to get through Andromeda right now.
Andromeda.
It's a lot of more traversal than I want. Like, right? Like, I'm in a couple places, and it's like, you got to go there. And I'm like, well, how the hell do I get there? You know, you got to find all these little hidey holes to jump up and get there. And I'm like, I'm not sure if this is the game I want right now, you know? But
It's like 3 or 4 different, like, Elder Scrolls map, or, like, Bethesda maps in a Mass Effect game.
I got ruined on Mass Effect during that game. I got to I'm looking online, I was at the final level. You just made it to the, whatever that alien, there was like some central space you were trying to get to, like their hiding space or ship or something. And this like a year ago, and I got there, and then I hit a bug where my save wouldn't load. And I was reading all about it, and the only way to fix it was to basically either start over or load a save that was previous. My previous save was like 15 hours prior. So I never beat Andromeda, and I was just like, this is the worst feeling ever. You know, I haven't went back to Mass Effect since then.
There wasn't an autosave or anything?
No, it was terrible, man. I loaded the previous save, and it was so far back that I was just so mad. I was like, I'm not playing through. I never beat it.
That makes the issue that I had that makes the issue that I had seem so minuscule. Like when I started Mass Effect 3, I started a mission by accident. I was supposed to go do something else first, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like the mission that if I go back to a previous save, I lose like an hour. Like, you know what I mean? And I felt bad about like losing that hour, but like, holy fuck, I can't imagine being in this situation and I have to go back that far and lose that much progress.
Yeah, it's just like the worst feeling ever. And like, I considered it for a while, and I kept trying to find fixes for the patch, reading through I probably wasted as much time reading through Reddit.
Do you think at this point
how to fix it?
You think your save load and they have patched that out by now?
Maybe. That's a good point. I even uninstalled it. I could it's been like 6 months. Maybe if I reinstalled the game, my load would, because I think all the loads are like on the cloud through your Xbox account, so I might be able to try to boot it up again.
Yeah, I like the Andromeda, but I know the story has many, many flaws. Many flaws. And like the characters don't pop the way that the previous characters did. And like,
I still like PB.
I just, I like PB, but like, she's just like, okay, let's make an Asari, but let's make her fucking weird. let's do that. It's like, okay. Let's make a British guy, but make him a complete fucking dork. And then all of a sudden, him and the alien dude, you walk in on them and they're just have their shirts off for no fucking reason at all.
You like, look, I got this couch.
It was a hot day, man.
I'm sitting with me on my couch.
Yeah, this guy could bring anything that he wanted within that fit a certain amount of space, and this motherfucker brought a couch. He brought a whole fucking couch to Andromeda. Why did you need a fucking couch, dude? Like,
he came to chill.
There's so many and then there's so many rumored links to the original series that if they would have actually made those connections, that would have made everything feel a little bit better. Like, Vetra and her sister are actually Saren's kids. And Cora is the Elusive Man's daughter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those things, but they never quite put those things together. If they would have actually done it and could have pulled that off, it would have made some of it would have made sense, especially Cora. Would have made sense. It would have made her character make sense. And then it would have got me a little bit more into what was happening there. Possibly the biggest problem that I have with Andromeda is the difference in tone. It's a lot more jokey, and I guess I understand because, you go through 3 games with Shepard, and Shepard is a military man. And then you go to this person, and this person is a scientist. Like, they don't speak in the same way. They don't act the same way. Like, that type of thing. But, losing the militariness of it, but then putting that person in combat all the time, those two things just didn't jive the way that I thought it should have.
Yeah. Well,
I'll finish it eventually. I got I don't know, 20 hours in or something like that. I'm pretty far in, but then I abandoned it. Something else came out. I don't know if Cyberpunk came out. Something came out that distracted me from it when I first started playing Andromeda.
That's been happening.
How did y'all feel about the car in that game? I know people were hit or miss on the amount of time you had to spend in that vehicle. I liked it. I enjoyed the vehicle. I thought it was kind of a fresh change. How did y'all feel about it?
Like
the vehicle and what?
Andromeda.
Yeah, as long as it wasn't a Mako, we cool. I mean, if it would have been a Hammerhead, I could have lived with it. I could have lived with it if it was a Hammerhead, but it worked fine for me. It did everything it needed to do once I figured out how to properly use it. It's just the whole thing about it not having guns and shit.
Not being weaponized.
Yeah, weaponized. That's the word.
That's what didn't make sense for the setting of the game and the missions you're on. Why does your car not have weapons of any sort? It was mind blowing. You go back to the thing that I just said.
These
are scientists.
Yeah.
These are scientists, and the scientists. They wouldn't think to put guns on their car. They're like, we don't need guns. That's what the military guys are.
Mines.
But then they put a military AI into a scientist.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's not really as bad of a game as a lot of people say. But it's not good. I still think it's better than Mass Effect 1 to me, and no one can convince me otherwise.
Blue might have something to say, but
Blue always has something to say.
So Dylan, what you been playing?
Game wise, man, I have guilty pleasure, I guess, been playing. I don't know how big you guys are on 2D fighting games, but on Game Pass, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. I've been burning that up.
You look so happy when you said that.
I was in the mindset. I don't care what they say. I love this game so much. I don't care.
I have not played a Power Rangers fighting game since the one that was on the Genesis.
No, and it's legit. I mean, I have a friend who like legit played in like Street Fighter tournaments, and he's tried to get me into these like 2D fighters. 'Cause, you know, some fighting games aren't like your traditional with, you know, your blocking and how the game works, and this one actually is. And he was so happy I got into it, and man, I love it. I've been burning it up, and other than that, I've been trying to get into Pillars of Eternity, also on Game Pass. I started the first one, or about 10 hours in, and the game's pretty good as well. It was Obsidian. They were crowdfunded for it. So they used, from what I can tell, because when it pops up, it tells you, like, thank yous to all of our crowdfunding people who helped put this game together. Okay. So they actually had fans pay for it.
So let me ask you this question. You said it's an Obsidian game. Does it actually work?
Yes. Yes.
Obsidian
Surprisingly so.
Obsidian has a track record of their games being cool, but not necessarily working all the time. Until
like
months
as far as
later.
I've gotten.
They can fix some shit like months later, but still, like especially when they first come out, like this thing doesn't work.
But this one's more along the lines of their older games, like Baldur's Gate and stuff, right?
Yeah. So from what I can tell, they got it. Fans crowdfunded it through like a GoFundMe, basically, so the corporate side of Obsidian wouldn't make the game. Like it was made by actual developers that they wanted to make it. I haven't put into too much resources on or too much time and looking on how it was made, but I know it was crowdfunded, and it's like the old games. Like the old, very story-oriented, a lot of reading. Instead of fancy graphics, if there's a scene that requires something crazy happening, it'll show like a storybook page with artwork, like custom art, and you just got to read it. And I really like it.
Word.
Nice.
I never actually knew what kind of game it was.
So it's very similar to Dragon Age Origins. Before EA ruined Dragon Age, I don't know if any of you played Origins, which was a wonderful game.
I tried.
And it just sounds too positive.
I tried Origins, and then I got to the Fade, and I was like, and I actually like pulled up a guide, and I got myself through the Fade. Is that what it's called, the Fade?
Yeah.
That very weird level with the with the magic and shit, where part of it you're like a mouse or something like. It's just like
that's pretty far in the game. That's pretty far in the game, from what I remember.
I think I did it too early.
Yeah, that's the thing with those older games is you could get into spots like you shouldn't be in. Like it didn't just walk you through it, so like you could get into spots where like you weren't going to make it through it. You were either going to go back and level up some other way, or you were just going to die.
Yeah, I need to see. Those old games don't do the thing that new games do. Like a new game would have been like, "Bruh, you sure you want to go in here?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's your level, dog? Like, you know what I mean? Like they got.
You're not recommended level.
Yeah, like they don't like it's like the Bloods of the Crips outside. Somebody need to G check you. Like, do you really want to go in here, dog? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I did the Fade too early, and that just completely messed me up on the game. I just was like, I can't do this. So I tried Inquisition. I went from Origins to Inquisition, and I played Inquisition. And this happened to me with several games, but I played Inquisition and I played it strong for one sitting. Like I put a couple of hours in. I was like, cool, I'm going to play this game. And then like I forgot about it for like a week. Went back to try to play it. I had no idea what I was doing.
You had a love-hate relationship with that game, didn't you, Dylan?
Yeah, Inquisition I did. I finally beat it, and I beat all the expansions, but like I would play it for like a month hard, and then I would just quit for like 3 months, go to playing something else, and I would come back and play like a month hard. Like it took me probably a year and a half to beat it, and like 100. I think I have 100 hours in it, and I finally beat it. But that was the weirdest series. Origins was like old school type of RPG. Then Dragon Age 2. I don't know if any of y'all played that. Was like an action game. Like you could hardly even put that in like the same category.
They made that Mass Effect money, and they did with 2 what they did with Mass Effect, like the difference between Mass Effect 1 and 2, where they just kind of streamlined it and made it combat focused.
And it was like 30 hours. You went from a 100-hour game to like a 30-hour game, and then you came back to Inquisition that was like 200 hours. It was, and they were all completely different game styles. It was a weird series, man. The Mass Effect's the same way, really.
Yeah, honestly.
But 2 and 3 are still pretty similar, but both of them.
2 and 3 are very similar. I would say that. 2 and 3 are similar, but there's so many changes that it really takes you. Like, you really got to pay attention to like what you're doing. At least for us, when we originally played, like, we had all of that time in between to get used to. Okay, so this is what's different about the game. But the people playing for the first time with the Legendary Edition, they go straight into the other game and like, what the fuck is this? And then like I have to learn. And like have to learn like the nuances, and like when I'm watching the chick play Mass Effect 3 badly, like she has no idea about like the combos and like all of this like deep information that can help you out and help you survive this thing. Like, you're a Vanguard and like you don't know the combination of like charge, Nova, shotgun. Like, you're a Vanguard. That's what you do. Charge, Nova, shotgun. And that's basically your bread and butter for that whole fucking game. And like, you know, there's things that you learn that, you know, is like they don't really teach you that much. They just give you all of these powers and say, hey, you can use all of these. It's like, no, you need these two and you need a shotgun. That's all.
It's weird when you're watching somebody play something that like you played forever and have like time and effort into learning, and they just have no idea what they're doing.
Oh yeah, I'm doing that now.
Oh man,
you missed the beginning of the episode.
We started the show.
yeah, you missed the beginning of the episode. I'm watching someone play through the Mass Effect series badly, and I am very
stressful.
enjoying this.
He's got buckets and buckets of popcorn. He's just watching this woman.
I watched someone play Mass Effect 1 for the first time, and let me tell you, this person went to Vermeer before they got Liara. Exactly. Like, that look on your face is exactly. They did Vermeer before they did the mission to get Liara.
Which one is Vermeer again?
That's the one where you can fuck up and Rex dies. Remember?
Where you can what?
Where you can fuck up
lose
and
Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And then Rex died in this playthrough. Rex died, and they just kept it moving. Like, no reloads, no nothing. They just kept it moving.
But the thing is, like, if they never knew anything about it, they would just be like, oh, that was probably supposed to happen.
Like, oh, the big lizard is dead. Whatever.
Yeah.
And technically, he's a bat. Like, people say that he's a lizard, but you know, if you're deep into this and you watch all of this stuff, it's a certain type of bat that the Krogans are based on.
Really?
Huh?
Well,
dude, I got emotionally involved. Like those characters, like some of them died when who was it? Garrus, when he died. Like, I was like 15 then, and I may have cried. Like, I don't remember. I may have cried when Garrus originally died. Was that Mass Effect 2?
Yeah, but that doesn't have to happen.
Well, he died in my game, and it was sad.
I lost Morden in my first playthrough of the ending. I lost Morden, and I questioned myself. That's how I knew I was a fan. Like, what did I do wrong? Not the game. What did I do wrong? And that's how I knew I was a fan. Mike, what you playing?
We already asked Mike what he's playing.
We did? Oh, so no Chase.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did finish the last Tomb Raider game. I've been doing a 3-game rotation that's keeping me like finishing games, because I didn't finish any games last year because I was mostly playing like Elder
I remember
Scrolls.
I used to like hate on you for that. I'd be like, we used to say you had like me and Sam. We also we'd be like, Chase has video game ADD. Like, he'll play something for like 2 weeks and he's on to something else and doesn't go back to it.
Well, I mean, I was mostly like playing Elder Scrolls and Valheim and stuff like that, like being social. So I wasn't putting the time into finishing stuff. So I have I think it's because I would play so much of these long games, and then I would just get burnt out and need to play something else. I would look back later like, oh, it feels like I haven't really played Outer Worlds. So I haven't finished it. And I was like, I looked at the time.
Still haven't.
I have 50 hours in that game, or 40 or 50. I was like, that's a good amount of time. I put a good amount of time in that. Like, so it's just long games I'm into. So finish that Tomb Raider game.
The Inquisition effect.
Yeah. The Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the last one. And that one took me 26 hours to finish. And that's, you know, when you think about like Inquisition, that's not very long. But like, that I didn't realize that because the first one was like 12 hours. The second one was like 18, and this one was like double that. And I was like, Jesus Christ! It just felt like it just kept going on and on. But I finally finished it. And then the second game is Scarlet Nexus, and that game has a lot of what the fuck moments in the story. I'm like, oh, what? So I'm like actually thinking about it right now. I'm to finish playing it a little bit after the podcast, but it's a JRPG, but it doesn't play like a JRPG.
Yeah, tell me about that. Has it got more action? There's a lot of reading in that game, right? Because it's a JRPG.
There's very little reading. Like all the cutscenes, it is like a comic book type thing to where they like be like this person, but it's all voice acted. There's no reading really, and then all the action is very hack and slash. Like your dude, everybody has like different mind powers basically. And you can borrow powers from your teammates if you want to use them. So your main power is that you have... What is it where you can move things with your mind? Is that telekinesis? Yeah, so you have that to where you would slice an enemy and then that would power up your throw things. You can throw something. Or you'll like... I just did one to where I like took control of this bus, jumped on top of it. It was like driving the bus around, running enemies over. It's like all kinds of like weird shit you can do. And then you'd be like, oh... This is a tree enemy, and so I'm going to borrow the fire power from this girl, and then all my powers have some fire tinge or something like that, and you're just like throwing shit, and like it's really frenetic and very, very crazy, and the enemies look really cool. They're like really weird looking, like there'd be like vases with legs with flowers coming out of it, or like one was like this giant thing with his head that was upside down, these big fists. And so it's like Dark Souls looking fucking shit.
Japan.
It looks like, well, yeah, I keep forgetting that Dark Souls is Japan, but like, it's that's what made me like that new Dark Souls like game, the Elden Ring or whatever. I was like, man, that looks so fucking cool. But I know I'm never going to fucking play that shit.
Is that out?
Well, you can play it, you just won't be able to beat it.
What? All three of you guys were talking. I didn't hear.
Yeah, we all talked at the same time. I stopped.
So who's going to go?
I said you'll be able to play it, you just won't be able to beat it.
I probably wouldn't get past the first enemy.
Yeah, like Matt in some universe is still playing the beginning of Bloodborne.
and like me at the beginning of Ninja Gaiden, the Xbox One, the first dude with the nunchucks, like it took me so long to actually beat him. Like dude was like one of the hardest bosses I've ever faced, and he's the first one in that game. Like I knew that game wasn't for me when I finally got to the point where I beat the first boss in the game. I know that I went through that fight like 20 times before I got past it. And I'm just kind of like, I don't think this game is for me.
Yeah. But
I might pick up this Scarlet Nexus thing. I've had my eye on it. I don't play a lot of games like this, but
right, and graphically it looks
sweet.
Really good. And I like some like I like the Persona games, but I wouldn't say the Persona games are graphically great. Even with the fifth one looks stylistic, but it's still not a graphically enhanced game. You know what I mean? But this, there's like sun rays and like where I'm like, oh, I might take a screenshot of that. Like I never think that about a JRPG, unless it's something funny. But it's
I never think about taking screenshots unless I'm playing a sports game. Like that's the only time I think about taking.
Dude,
screenshots.
I've been taking so many screenshots of Red Dead Redemption 2. It's not even crazy. I'm going to have
with the new controllers now, Scar. I know you don't have the new system, right? You're on the old still, right?
Yeah.
You haven't updated. So in the new one, it's just I know with the old system you could do the button and then you pulls up a menu, but when you just have the button there right in the middle, it's like spam that shit, bam, 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 bam.
That's dope. And I would probably use that if I'm playing like if they finally come out with a
I have one too, and I hooked it up to the Xbox One and it does work. Like the share button works on the Xbox One as well. So if you got it, So
I know the old system, the Xbox One, it was a drag. You'd press the button in the middle and it would pause your game. And then a fucking, little thing came up and you said, did you want to record the video or the screenshot? And It was really convoluted.
They eventually they patched in a shortcut where you press the Xbox button and then press Y or something like that, and it
that's how I
takes a
used to do
screenshot
it.
of what's on the screen. But that wasn't like what it was originally.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Halo, has anyone seen people play this new the people who got the Halo Insider people that got into this? I
haven't seen, but I've
test.
heard people liking it.
Yeah, one of my friends, I don't know if you know Kellen, Jace, who used to play Apex with him. You've played with him a couple times, you might not remember him, but he got in it somehow, and I watched him play it, and it looks really good, man. They stayed very true to Halo. Like, they didn't make any crazy, I mean, it looks like Halo. They didn't go any crazy way with it. They brought back the bubble shield, was like the only crazy thing I've seen.
Yeah, but this version of the game is against bots.
Well, the
Yeah, they
technical
only
test
play
was
'em.
originally, and I think last night they opened it up PvP.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, but
so
first it was only bots.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were just testing the servers, getting people into matches, and then over time, as the servers could handle that influx of players, and they said, "Okay, let's open up matchmaking."
Well, but yeah, in the third game, I'm playing as Red Dead Redemption 2, and so I picked it up on PC because my son has the Xbox One. I was like, I really want to play this, so I'm getting back to where I was. I was about 40 hours into it, which is about chapter 3 is where I was, where I'm like down south. So I'm just now about to where you're. I think about to where I'm about to go down south. But yeah, I'll be like, oh man, look at that shit. Photo mode, bring it out, screenshot. I have so many screenshots in that game, and I'm not even like 20 hours into it.
Wasn't I with you that day when you first got it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I was there the day that you first started playing. We did it during your Extra Life. I remember that.
Yeah.
And you haven't been back?
I started it then, and then in 2020 I got like 40 hours into it because I lost a disc. And then I started playing it on Game Pass. And then I just bought it digitally after Game Pass was over. Or during Game Pass because it was leaving Game Pass at that point. So yeah, and then I got like 40 hours into it on Xbox. So I rebought it on PC. It was on sale for pretty cheap. And because I just have... I got it on Xbox originally because of some friends that I remember playing the Red Dead Redemption 1 on. And I don't even know if I'm going to play online. But I mean, I would love to like get a posse together and like... but it'd be cool to have a server because I want to play with friends, you know? But...
I don't really have an attraction to a Western. Like that, Westerns, I enjoyed the story of the first game.
Mm-hmm.
But like nothing in me made me give a shit about the second game. I think the reason why I played the first game is because of Jaybird. Rest in peace, Jaybird. But Jaybird pushed the issue so bad. Like, you have to play this. You have to play this. You have to play this. And then I played it and was like, oh, this is actually pretty decent. It's Grand Theft Horse.
I really like the second one. I almost think I'll like the character in the second one more than John Marston at this point. I just really like that character, and but I don't like watch a lot of westerns or anything like that. I mean, my dad does, but that's all he watches. So a little bit, I'm like, oh,
all of our dads do. Even my dad did. So like, he was about that life.
So I mean, it does remind me of Dad a little bit, but I'm like, man, Dad would love this shit if he actually gave a shit about games. But
right.
But yeah, it's very beautiful, man. Like, I've never had a game to where I'm like really spamming freaking screenshots like crazy. Like, it's kind of breathtaking how freaking pretty that game is. But yeah.
So does that game have one of those moments like Mexico in the first one?
I don't know yet, but maybe it's like, oh well, where you're raw, like near the beginning, you have that moment where you're going from the mountains and it's playing the song and you guys are talking and stuff. I mean, it still has that where you're riding along with someone and you guys are chatting. I mean, all those conversations are always top notch, you know. So,
as if they could really hear each other, but Being honest, as if they could really hear each other in real life over the sound of their horses making all of that noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I need to finish Mass Effect before I move on to something else. And that's kind of the thing that's kind of keeping me from playing stuff like The Ascent and stuff like that. I do have a beta code for, was it Back for Blood?
Oh, speaking of beta codes, let me, before you get going, I did play a little bit of New World because a friend of me and Dylan gifted me that out of the blue, and we were playing a little bit of it, and it seems alright, you know what I mean? But I think it needs a lot of work, but it seems pretty cool.
It's incredibly popular. People are loving it.
Yeah, I did. It was Back for Blood, so I do have a beta code. I don't know if I'm actually going to use it, but yeah, I do have a beta code for Back for Blood. I don't think I can activate it until Thursday or Friday or something like that.
I got into that new Ubisoft game, the X Defiant or whatever.
Ooh.
I don't think you can play that till August 5th, which is what, 3 days? Thursday or Friday?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm interested because I'm a Division fan. I've played some of the Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I didn't play very much Wildlands. And I have not bothered with Rainbow Six Siege at all. But I am a super Division fan, of course, as everyone knows here. So I'm interested to see how it goes. I personally don't care about multiplayer with actual people. Like I would love a situation like Halo with the bots. I hope they keep the bots for the game. Like, you can just do some multiplayer stuff with you and possibly some friends against some bots. I would totally dig that, and I could just do that forever because I don't like playing games against people, but I will try this.
Cool.
So I think what I'm going to do, I haven't figured out what I'm going to do next though. Like after Mass Effect is done, because I said I wasn't going to do anything. I wasn't really going to pick up anything new until after Mass Effect 3 is done.
Well, were you you could do like the back and forth like I do to try to like, so you don't, because I was feeling like I was getting a little burned out through 3. I was loving 3, but I was like, I've been playing Mass Effect for 150 hours. I need to play something else so I can finish Mass Effect. I needed to take a break from Mass Effect so I can finish Mass Effect.
Well, see, my break game is 2 Point Hospital.
Okay.
Like when I need a break from everything, like I play 2 Point Hospital. I play tycoon games. I don't give a shit, and I love them. But I think I need to pick up something real. You know what I mean? Like, because that's a game. But I want to play some. I want to play some stuff, and I want to try to play some things that are actually current. Because usually I play games way after everyone else. So like by the time I start playing a game, and if it has a multiplayer or a co-op component to it, like everyone's gone, and I have no one to actually play this game. Like,
or you're just playing with hackers. You're like, you got advertisements on your screen while you're trying to play Call of Duty.
Right. I even thought about trying to play a Call of Duty game. I don't know. Like I never played the new Modern Warfare. I didn't play Cold War. Which one of those don't have a single player though?
Black Ops 3. Black Ops 4.
Two games ago.
Okay, so there's a single player on both of those. See, I've been wanting to get back into one of those because there's been quite a few that I missed.
The Modern Warfare one's really good. I finished that last.
The most recent one is good. I thought the one with when they were like dubbed World War I or World War II was more episodic, kind of like
Battlefield 1,
like small vignettes. I don't think the whole story was seamless. I thought it kind of broke up. The most recent Call of Duty story is pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I might try to get into something like that, and then of course I need to play Project Hospital. Because Blue got it for me. I really want to play Farm Manager 2021 because I love my Tycoon games. And I've been watching a lot of people play it, and I'm just like, I think I got this. And I have been itching, and I've been fighting the urge to play more City Skylines.
You had a hankering for it.
I had a hankering. You got to say it like you're chewing something. I got a hankering. Yep.
Hankering for what was that? Wheel of Cheese? Wasn't that the commercial from like the 80s? The guy with the cheese. Got a hankering for some cheese. You don't remember that? You guys aren't as old as me.
I don't think I remember that one. But it sounds like a commercial from the 80s.
Hankering for a hunk of cheese.
Hankering for a hunk of cheese.
Hey, so I think you use the word hankering every now and then.
A hanker for a hunk of cheese.
People think I'm weird because I say howdy. I still say howdy.
Started playing the video.
Sorry.
So and then eventually, probably sometime this week or this weekend, I'm going to finally watch the Snyder Cut. I think we'll sit down and I'm going to get her done, even if I got to do it in pieces. I'm going to watch the Snyder Cut. I don't really dig DC that much, but I want to see what the big deal was. And I call it the Project Hindsight edition. I typically don't call it the Snyder Cut. I call it the Hindsight edition because he had too much time after the movie was made to be like, ooh, I can make changes
just the
here.
name is like, oh, it's the Snyder Cut. Like you're not Zack Snyder. You're not Stanley Kubrick. You're Zack Snyder. Come on, the Snyder Cut. Get out of here.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm gonna watch that at some point. Oh, that looks familiar.
What?
He put it into the chat. I mean, he put it into the shout box. But that looks very familiar.
No, it's a famous commercial.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that as soon as this is done. Do we got anything else, gentlemen?
Not from me, man.
I ain't got nothing. I appreciate you guys letting me hop in here.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
You want to pimp anything, Mike or Dylan?
No, I got nothing.
You can always listen to the Bad Fodder Figures podcast once you're done listening to Scarcasm.
Yeah,
okay,
man.
We don't talk about, hard drives full of illicit material or, bestiality or anything like that.
That was all before Dylan got on.
maybe
happy you missed that.
I was like, I missed some stuff, guys. Dang.
Yeah, you missed some stuff. Yeah. Out of all the magical wonders that you can find on Reddit, Chase brought a brilliant question about a loaded hard drive with illicit material and what our thoughts would be. I didn't know if like the FBI was fucking listening in on us. Like, we got some sketchy dudes here in chat. We got to watch them.
Yeah.
From way of securities.
You didn't miss anything. Yeah, check out Bad Fodder Figures. Shout out to Matt. Matt's my dog. I fox with Matt.
Matt's a man of many talents. He was literally pitching a tent in the woods the other day with his wife in a tent. He was having a brand new tent. Would you ever spend $429 on a pop-up tent?
No.
Yeah, he did. Now he realizes he needs a better air mattress.
Okay. I wouldn't have spent all that money on that really nice scooter that he used to have either. So, and then he upgraded. He upgraded from the scooter though.
He did. So, he upgraded to a scooter. He got a regular motorcycle, more of like a racer type bike. And there's a very famous video on YouTube of him getting T-boned that he's made lots of money off of.
Yep.
And now he's upgraded to a Harley style bike, but it's not a Harley. I don't know if it's a Yamaha. I forget what it is. Kawasaki maybe, but it's more of a traditional looking motorcycle than a street bike.
Crotch rocket.
Yeah.
That was original. But thank you, gentlemen, for filling in. We had a scheduling conflict, and thank you both for joining us today. it's always super fun for August. People really get to hear a lot of voices other than ours, and and then they can branch out and find things like Bad Father Figures and everything else. And if you want, you can, give us your information. Somebody want to play some games with you and all that other stuff. So, you can find people to play Dark Alliance with you. And that's not Chase, because playing games with Chase is not fun.
It is fun.
Playing games with Chase is not fun, because Chase will be like, let's play this game, and then be like, all right, we should play this again. And then it'll be 3 months later. He'd be like, hey, remember, we didn't actually finish. We didn't play.
Social scar.
Do you know how long it's been since we tried to finish Gears 2, and then we finally finished and started 3. We played 3. We played the beginning of 3, and I have not played Gears 3 in 6 months because of Chase.
This is true story. Borderlands, he got me to buy Borderlands way back when. He randomly texted me last, I think, Tuesday, and said, hey man, me and Rick, another friend of ours, we're starting to do Borderlands every Wednesday night. Are you in? And this was on a Monday. I'm like, oh yeah, I never beat Borderlands. I'm down for that. He's like, yeah, we're at about the same spot in the game. I re-download Borderlands. It's been 3 Wednesdays since then. I've never heard from Chase on a Wednesday.
Chase,
he's been playing Dungeon D&D with me.
Yeah,
been doing something other than playing Borderlands with me. I know that.
And then I bought the Division on PlayStation. And I actually bought the gold edition on PlayStation 4 at the time, and he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna play the Division." Didn't happen.
He's got that Plex server. He's got a lot of stuff to watch.
I get it, man. It's an overwhelming amount of things to play now, and how cheap so much stuff is. It's hard to pick one.
Yeah, but the Game Pass messed up the game for everybody. There's too much.
The Game Pass stresses me out.
Yes,
it stresses me out.
Yeah, it's I got so much I can play, but I don't know what I want to play, so I'm just gonna go back to playing Mass Effect. That's pretty much how it's been for me.
I realize I've spent as much time in Game Pass just browsing, trying to decide what to play, probably than playing their Game Pass.
Exactly. But again, thank you, gentlemen, for showing up. And we're going to continue. Who's up next for August, Chase?
That should be our boy Rojas, and let's see, bring up the pins, and actually it's Wormhole.
Wormhole. Okay, so next week is Wormhole, and we're going to continue with August. Go find Bad Father Figures. Do y'all still do the live streams?
Yeah, we do them every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Twitch TV. Bad Father Figures. Yep. Okay. Me, Matt, and Eric. So if you remember Matt and Eric from 40cast, Glovebox.
Yep, I got it.
Yep.
And I just follow. I'm not on Twitch very much. I wish they had a Twitch app for the TV. I got a Roku TV. I wish there was a Twitch app for the Roku TV. I got to turn my console on to go to the Twitch app.
Yeah, I thought they would be.
My LG TVs have the Twitch app.
Yeah, Roku.
Oh, it must be because of their deal with Amazon. Amazon and Roku are competitors.
Possibly.
Yep.
But
that is what it is.
But yeah. Sorry, I had to get up. I really had to use the bathroom. I was hoping it would settle, but it did not. So
did you wash your hands, sir?
Oh yes. I'm not drunk. That only sometimes happens when I'm drunk. And that's been since 2016 or something, right? Okay.
It'll never go away because you took your phone in the bathroom during the show, peed, and didn't wash your hands, sir.
And I was at Dad's house.
Bad man.
But
all right, so I'm gonna wrap this up now for real.
Well, I had some shout outs. Because I just mentioned Rojas. Shout out their podcast, which is Video Game Purist, which they are not video game purists. That's kind of the thing. But that's Rojas and Trees Lounge, who is also another Boston guy, actually. But and then Bad Father Figures, of course, and Ron Block, man. You know who we haven't shout it out in a while. Mike J. Where's Mike J? I haven't heard from Mike J.
Mike J, I hadn't heard from Mike J in a long time. He started sending me some messages during the last show. Yes, Mike J started sending me stuff where we were talking about the buying goldfish from Walmart.
Oh yeah?
Yes, we had a conversation about buying goldfish from Walmart.
Nice.
And he said he really enjoyed the Mass Effect talk because the last show it was mostly Mass Effect because we got off on a tangent and we just kind of stayed there.
Well, if we start talking about Mass Effect, it ends up kind of taking over because we have so much to say like all the time.
Yep, because I love it. Okay, so again. We can try this again. All right, thank y'all for checking us out. We'll be back next week with Wormhole for more August. Thank you again, gentlemen, for joining the show. You can find us on geeksgoneraw.com. Find us wherever podcasts are given away for absolutely fucking free. And we'll be back in your ear holes next week. Peace out to the Warriors, yo.
Later.
I like that shit, yeah, boy. Look, I'm telling you, Walt. I'm telling. All right, I ain't gonna talk.
Why did he leave? He didn't know that he didn't have to leave.
It's his first podcast, man. It's his first podcast.
I thought we did a show with him before, but it was just audio only. I couldn't see him. But thank you so much, Mike, man. And
no problem.
And we gotta once August is over, we'll try to find another time to bring you back because I enjoyed this. I enjoyed our time today.
Yeah, it's kind of like the old school days when Gamers Unscripted.
Absolutely. We were just talking about that. Me and Chase were just talking about that.